Da-dee-dee-dee, where am I hearing that and why am I not hearing that? Da-dee-dee-dee, where am I hearing that and why am I not hearing that? Please stand by. Please stand by. Oh, good. Oh, so we all maybe. All right, looks like it's working. All right. I'm assuming that we have everything under control. Yeah, everything's coming through. It's wonderful. Hello. Okay. Excuse me. Good day, everybody. My name is Sidney Winston. It is the 13th of June, 2025, and we are going to cover in real time what is happening in the Middle East with Israel, Iran, and whoever else is involved or will be involved. Mainly, we'll be following these guys here. This is Ayn Rand Center UK. I watch them all the time. They agree with me, or I agree with them, 100% on each and every point. And at the same time, we'll be following the news on the Times of Israel as they live update their website. So perhaps what we can do is start listening to or start watching these guys here, the Ayn Rand Center with Razi and company.
In the background. Yeah, continue, Richard.
Okay, I was just going to point out that the number of articles two more to go then, and then you've got a full house. So who are we left with? Mohammed Pakpour and Alreza Tangsiri. Okay, so nearly there then. And of course, although these people will be replaced, and it's also that people are often talked about how they're quickly replaced, it's not the same. And of course, they don't have the same intel and level of expertise. And as I think Alex was pointing out on your marathon session earlier today, often in these regimes, they don't trust the information being spread further than the very top command. And therefore, when a chunk of them are taken out simultaneously, that does seriously threaten the ability for the next guy to pick up where the other one left off. And of course, we hope that's the case, and we'll see the last two dominoes on that sheet fall. I was just going to point out that already I've seen a number of articles from various newspapers comparing Israel and Iran in terms of their weaponry, their capabilities, comparing the numbers of aircraft they've got, number of troops they've got, how much they spend on military equipment per year. All of the most ridiculously pointless comparisons, because it really is ludicrous to compare those two in such a crude manner. Of course, these dictatorships always have hundreds of thousands of extra troops, which they can use as cannon fodder. And of course, that's not what you want from Israel. Israel has the technology and the capability of using their mines to reduce the number of casualties of their own side as well. And they have the ability to do that using technology. And of course, what they spend, and the two sizes of the countries are completely different. And this is a testament to the skill of Israel. The fact that a small country in this region, which if it wasn't as skillful and talented as it is, would have been wiped off the map decades ago, quite frankly, and it's only its capability of its people that has ensured that within such a difficult region, it's managed to thrive.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, let's just share what Michael just posted here. So the IDF says a short while ago, the IDF identified missiles launched from Iran towards the territory of the State of Israel. Defense systems are operating to intercept the threat. The public is instructed to enter a protected space and remain there until further notice. Leaving the protected space is only permitted following an explicit directive. Continue to follow the instructions of the Home Front Command. Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure everybody in Israel who this is relevant to probably heard the sirens before they heard me read it. But yeah, stay in those shelters, be uncomfortable for a little bit, and hope that that what we've been seeing.
Right. Okay. So we'll get back to these guys in a minute. I just want to bring in the Times of Israel and just catch up with the updates there. All right. So here, okay, 42 minutes ago. So we're really quite behind. Let's start scrolling up. Iran says air defenses intercept projectiles over Iran. Very nice. Okay, carry on. Jerusalem said to, this is 35 minutes ago. Jerusalem said to threaten Iranian oil refineries if Tehran targets what? No, sorry, it moved over me. Jerusalem said to threaten Iranian oil refineries if Tehran targets Israeli population centers with missiles. A senior Israeli security official tells Channel 12 that Israel has warned Iran that if it targets Israeli population centers with ballistic missiles, Israel will target Iranian regime leaders and state infrastructure such as oil refineries. 34 minutes ago, Iran media reports massive explosion in country's center. A massive explosion was heard Friday in Isfahan, a major city in central Iran, in a province that is home to several nuclear facilities, Mehr news agency says. A few minutes ago, a massive explosion was heard in Isfahan, says Mehr, without immediately elaborating. Let's move on. 24 minutes ago, UN conference on Israel-Palestinian conflict postponed. Macron confirms. President Emmanuel Macron says that a United Nations conference co-hosted by France and Saudi Arabia excuse me, to work toward a two-state solution between Israel and the Palestinians has been postponed after Israel launched a military attack on Iran. Macron tells reporters, am I reading the right thing? Yeah. That the conference, which had been planned for June the 17th to the 20th, had been postponed for logistical reasons as members of the Palestinian Authority could not travel to New York, and that it would be rescheduled as soon as possible. All right, moving on. Let's see. We are at 21 minutes ago. IDF reveals that it struck Isfahan nuclear site. Whoa. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. No, I don't want to go there. No. Oh, here we go. All right, IDF reveals it struck Isfahan nuclear site. The Israeli Air Force struck an Iranian nuclear facility near Isfahan earlier today, IDF spokesman Brigadier General Effie Defrin says in a press conference. Isfahan joins Natanz on the list of nuclear sites Israel has confirmed targeting. There have also been reports and footage of an attack on the Fordo nuclear site. So this morning I read that both of those had not been hit yet. Now it looks like it's changing. We will not allow Iran to advance towards a nuclear bomb. We will not allow the development of missiles intended to harm us, he says. Okay, moving along. 31 minutes ago, the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem has directed all of its staff and their family members to shelter in place until further notice. We're at 19 minutes ago. IDF spokesman Brigadier General Effie Defrin says the military continues to strike in Iran. We are in the midst of the operation, continuing to strike in Iran and remain ready on the defense. Deference says in a press conference. He says, "We cannot be complacent. We are aware of the enemy's intentions to harm us, and there will be more attempts of this kind. We still have challenges ahead," Deference says. Asked how long Israel's airspace will remain closed, Deference says, "We are in an ongoing war and prepared for many days of a campaign." 19 minutes ago that was. Let's go to 16 minutes ago. During his press conference, IDF spokesman Brigadier General Effie Defrin reveals that the military has killed at least 6 top Iranian military commanders and 9 nuclear scientists. Ooh, okay, let me try this. The military officials include Iran's Chief of Staff, Mohammad Bagheri, IRGC Chief Hossein Salami, head of the Qatam al-Anbiya Central Headquarters, Gholam Ali Rashid, IRGC Air Force Chief Brigadier General Amir Ali Hajizadeh, IRGC Air Force Drone Unit Commander Taher Pur, and IRGC Air Force Air Defense Unit Commander Dawood Shaikhian. Okay, that was 16 minutes ago. Let's jump up to 13 minutes ago. IDF spokesman Brigadier General Effie Defrin's press conference was cut short due to the military headquarters going on heightened alert. While taking questions at the Kiryat military headquarters in Tel Aviv, a loudspeaker can be heard announcing that the base is going into defensive standby, an alert meaning that it is preparing for an attack. As of now, no ballistic missiles have been launched from Iran. Let's move up to 5 minutes ago. The IDF says it has detected a missile attack from Iran. A short while ago, missiles were launched from Iran at Israel, the military says. Civilians are told to enter bomb shelters and remain there until further notice. 5 minutes ago. Okay, let's go up to 3 minutes ago. Netanyahu is set to convene security chiefs and key ministers at 10 tonight. Channel 12 reports. That's 45 minutes from now. The network quotes a senior Israeli official warning against any euphoria and saying Iranian missiles will get here and it won't take them long. The results will not be minor. That's precisely why we need to use every moment to attack and not hold back. We won't take our foot off the gas. We are preparing for a lengthy conflict. This is one of the most significant historic events since the establishment of the State of Israel. The TV station also says that perhaps the most likely scenario presented to ministers last night is that of Iran firing 600 ballistic missiles in phases at Israel. Channel 12 says ministers were told last night by security officials that there are documents indicating that Iran genuinely needs to push towards nuclear weapons. Not just talk, but action. And to obtain components of the weapons program that they never dared to seek before. This, in addition, oh, come on, man. This, too much, man. Where am I? No. Okay, Channel 12 says ministers, this, in addition to Iran's ballistic missiles, which it intended to triple, requires action to degrade. If we don't act now, we'll know less and less each day. All right, 7 minutes ago, Russian President Vladimir Putin, in separate telephone conversations on Friday, told Iran's president that Moscow condemned Israel's actions against Tehran. Putin. And told Israel's prime minister that questions around Iran's nuclear program could only be solved through diplomacy, just like Ukraine can only be solved through diplomacy. Right, Putin? Putin? It's a bad word. You're a Putin. Used to be like you're a nonce. Now you're a Putin. A Kremlin statement says Putin told Iran's Masoud Pezeshkian that Russia condemns the actions of Israel taken in violation of the UN Charter and expressed condolences for those killed. Oh, Putin! The statement says Putin, in his conversation with Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu, stressed the importance of a return to the process of talks and resolution of all issues concerning Iran's nuclear program, strictly through political and diplomatic means. The Kremlin statement said Russia would remain in close contact with Iran and Israel. Wow, how meaningful is that? 4 minutes ago, sirens are sounding across Israel amid a major Iranian ballistic missile attack. An estimated 100 missiles were launched from Iran at Israel, according to an Israeli military source. 1 minute ago, French President Emmanuel Macron says that information France had on the Iranian nuclear program was most concerning, adding that the program was close to a critical stage. Macron, speaking at a news conference, says France did not recommend attacking Iran's nuclear sites, saying there was still a diplomatic route to resolve the issue. Bullshit! You're dealing with Muslims. There's no diplomatic route. There's only force. There's only power. There's only strength. That's it. That's it. Now, I suggest we go back and listen to these guys.
After this, will be a serious step towards getting rid of Iran once and for all.
Not to mention, of course, a few weeks ago, a group of Iranians here in London were arrested after allegedly planning attack on the Israeli embassy here in London. So that terrorism is spread, to our own shores in the UK and has been here for some time. And in terms of what you were talking about earlier, seeing this as a moral equivalence, as a tit for tat, is completely wrong. It's not a one country fires weapons, one responds, that's even, now you stop, lads. It doesn't work like that. It's a case of who is right and who is wrong. And that's why Israel should be taking the opportunity to wipe out Iran and prove that there should be no tit for tat in the future. There should be no matter how small the response of ballistic weapons or drones is in the future, it needs to be eliminated, and that needs to, by stepping it up.
The Revolutionary Guard that governs Iran and the mullahs, they got to be gone. Gone. Israel is at war, and you don't win a war by allowing the leaders of the country that you're at war with to remain in power once you've obliterated once you've obliterated their infrastructure and their military and etc. You cut the political echelon right out of the New Deal, in my opinion. And I hope these guys agree with me. Let's see.
But yeah, it definitely doesn't look good.
And of course, for these people, all they need to be lucky ones, don't they? It's a usual narrative when there is an attack like Richard pointed out, which we managed to stop. They try again. We have to be lucky all the time. They have to be lucky only once. They will eventually manage to cause some physical damage, because just the sheer number. We are not prepared to fend off every single attack. And of course, by launching hundreds of missiles, how can you possibly intercept them all? I mean, especially when your so-called allies decide not to play ball anymore. I mean, that's despicable, really.
And of course, there's always a consequence of endless procrastination anyway, and the constant delay of taking on Iran only enables this to be more possible. And of course, that's you've got to deal with the consequences at some point, even if it's now, even if it involves some setbacks.
Yeah, there's no that
Yeah,
much.
I can,
Michael.
I can say that at least my contacts in Tel Aviv, the sirens are done. They can leave the missile room. There does seem to have been a hit in Tel Aviv.
There's a new notification on Times of Israel, so let's go there quickly. Smoke seen rising. Oh, hold on. Before we go there, there's more. Oh, way more. We last read this one, France. Okay, 1 minute ago. And now we got looks like 5 minutes ago. Footage shows the Iranian ballistic missile attack on Israel. The IDF says that dozens of missiles were fired. Want to watch? Look at them dancing. Enjoy that their country will survive. Beautiful. All right, let's go to 9:20, which is 4 minutes ago. Pro-Iran groups in Iraq call for the withdrawal of U.S. troops, with one powerful faction warning of additional wars in the region after a wave of Israeli strikes on Iran. During the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza since October 2023, Tehran-aligned armed factions have launched rocket and drone attacks at army bases hosting U.S. troops who are deployed in Iraq and in neighboring Syria as part of an anti-jihadist coalition. Accusing U.S. President Donald Trump of having authorized the major Israeli attack on Iran on Friday, Iraqi group Kataib Hezbollah said in a statement that the American forces in Iraq have enabled this aggression by opening the Iraqi airspace to liberation aircraft. To stop Iraq from becoming a battlefield, Kataib Hezbollah said that the government in Baghdad must urgently remove these hostile foreign forces from the country in order to avoid additional wars in the region. Akram al-Kabi, the leader of another group, al-Nujaba, decried the alleged coordination between Israel and the American occupier and called for the complete withdrawal of U.S. forces. U.S. forces stationed in Iraq at Baghdad's invitation have supported the fight against the Islamic State group. The foreign troops in Iraq and Syria were repeatedly targeted by pro-Iran militants following the outbreak of the Gaza war in October 2023, but responded with heavy strikes on Tehran-linked targets, and the attacks largely subsided. The United States and Iraq have announced that the anti-IS coalition would end its decade-long military mission in federal Iraq by the end of 2025, and by September 2026 in the autonomous Kurdistan region in the country's north. There are currently about 2,500 U.S. troops in Iraq. 9:21, 5 minutes ago, smoke is seen rising from Tel Aviv following an apparent missile impact in the area. Iran launched dozens of ballistic missiles at Israel a short while ago, according to the IDF. Magen David Adom, which is the Israeli Red Star, Red Shield, says there are no immediate reports of injuries. Okay, back to the live. Back to the
days, and the fact that there is this need to become aware of it but not blasé about it, and the fact that they're still able to show such resilience in the face of it is a testament to the Israeli character, but it's also a sad indictment of how long it's gone on for, and that it has become a norm. And it doesn't matter where you see that principle displayed, whether you see shoplifting become the norm or fare evasion become a norm.
What do you think out there? Do you think Iran's political leadership is going to be overthrown, and Reza Pahlavi will come back and sort of steer the country towards a democracy and one man, one vote, one person, one vote? What do you think?
Sirens, having to stop what you're doing and take safety is a way of life, and that's must be very difficult to live with, and we shouldn't underestimate what that is actually like.
And to be honest, it's also testify how much we should admire the Israeli people, because despite all this, they managed to still be the beacon in really Middle East. They managed to be this creative, productive place, which despite all the stuff that they have to put up with, manages to come up on top. And that goes to show how far a little bit of freedom can actually take you.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll have much more to add, and hopefully tomorrow when we do, I don't know how many shows and when, we will have some bad news, but hopefully we will have also.
Yeah, I'm going to switch to something else in a second. I think these guys are going to go offline soon.
And really responded as it should. Michael, I know you need to jump off, so I'm going to ask you for your parting thoughts first.
Yeah, I think the thing that maybe some in America and some of the Western European countries don't understand is that when you actually have to deal with this crap and you go back and you perform the same kinds of day jobs that all of us in the other Western countries do, you actually appreciate the freedoms that we have, and you appreciate the soldiers that are defending your freedoms, etc. One of the disgusting things about a lot of these American students and all of the protesters that talk about free Palestine is that they don't have to do any of that. They think this all comes for free, and frankly, it's somebody else's kid who died protecting me. And we all really need to we need to stop putting up with this. We need to stop electing people that support this notion that spoiled brats who think that they are owed a living and owed freedom. And frankly, many of them think they don't even have to work. That's why they have time to protest. We need to stop. And I really think that watching what has gone on in Israel and hopefully what will be some good news with retaliation, we recognize that our kids are the ones putting their lives on the line, and then we go back and do what all the rest of us do for a normal day job. Thanks very much, Michael Kaufman on LinkedIn, 2Fs.
Thanks. Hopefully Michael can join us again in the coming days. Richard, Marco, parting thoughts?
Well, it's live events, isn't it? It's hard to make an assessment in the midst of it, but we can only talk about what we know for certain and what's gone ahead. What the great achievements Israel has made in the last 24 hours, and those will be the substantial ones, no matter what has precisely happened with the attack in this particular round of missiles that have headed for Tel Aviv and the likes. So
yeah, so they're gone or they're moving off. So let me go back to the Times of Israel. Smoke scene rising we last saw. So 3 minutes ago, the IDF calls on the public not to publish the locations or photos of missile impacts. The enemy monitors the footage to improve its attack capabilities, the military says. 49 seconds ago, Iran's top diplomat Abbas Araghi calls on the United Nations to act against Israel's warmongering following a wave of massive Israeli attacks on the Islamic Republic. Araghi emphasized the need for the United Nations to take immediate action to confront the liberation regime's aggression and warmongering, says a readout of his phone call with UN Chief Antonio Guterres, released by the Iranian Foreign Ministry. So really what's going on is just a lot of blah, 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 talk, nonsense. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a different source, all right? Just give me one moment to do that. Just keep on monitoring this. This might update any second. But in the meantime, I want to...
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm getting clips. I don't know if the
people
people sending them are the ones taking them, but whoever is watching from Israel.
Oh, they're saying goodbye.
If you are, taking video of this, you are not doing what you should be doing, which is in a shelter.
Right.
If they are hitting, and this could continue. So yeah, stay safe. Daniel, parting thoughts?
Just look at the differences, right? Israel has hit military targets in Iran, and Iran is responding by hitting civilian sites. They are hitting Tel Aviv, central Tel Aviv. The goal is to simply kill people, to inflict as much damage as they can on just civilians. So that shows the difference between attitudes.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, hopefully when.
All right, we'll say goodbye to them. We'll cut back to the the Times of Israel. See if there's anything new. No, not yet. All right, let me go and find something else that is fully updatable. Okay, let's. I got something here. Richard Kemp. Do you know Richard Kemp? I think he's a general of some sort. All right, let me bring him in. Oops. That shouldn't have happened. Oh, database error from the Times of Israel. Ooh. I've been blocked. I have been blocked from accessing the Times of Israel. Well, damn. All right then. So here's Richard Kemp. Let me just. Here's Richard Kemp, and let's see what he's got to say.
I'm Richard Kemp, here in Israel. As I speak, over 100 Iranian drones are heading towards us. Iran's first response to Israel's preemptive strikes that are going on now. This tiny country is single-handedly taking on the greatest terror state in the world today and has already done immense damage to its offensive capabilities. Iran has been attacking and killing Israelis through its terror proxies for years. It is now, or was, on the verge of producing nuclear bombs that could have wiped out millions of people at a stroke. Well, that's pretty much over now, or will be soon, thanks to Israel's courageous soldiers and political leaders. The Arab world, also Iran's sworn enemies and targets for attack, is behind Israel in this fight. The Iranian people, who have been subjugated, imprisoned, murdered, tortured and impoverished by the Ayatollahs, are also behind Israel in this fight. The US, which the Iranian regime has sworn to destroy since it seized power in 1979, is also behind Israel in this fight. Above all, Israelis are fighting to defend their country, but they're also fighting to defend the Western world, the whole of which is the target of Iran's jihadist fanatics and would have been threatened by Iran's nuclear weapons. We should thank Israel for their actions to defend us, all of us, and we should give them our total support in their fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I got the Times of Israel back. Magen, all right, this just comes in. Magen David Adom says its medics are scanning 7 reported impact sites in the Tel Aviv area following Iran's ballistic missile barrage. Several people are reportedly lightly injured. Damage was also caused to several buildings. So the Iranian regime, the Iranian Jew-hating regime has launched hundreds of ballistic missiles towards Israel, And some have gotten through and caused some injuries. I do believe that the Prime Minister has essentially told the Israeli public that things could get really bad, and there might be extreme multi-casualty events, and so on. So we wait and we watch, and that's really all we can do. Let me go and there we go, and see if there's anything else happening. Wow. Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's scan X and see what's happening. Alright, I got a new notification from... Look at this. Oh, yeah, look at that. The whole of Israel is under fire. That's the target of all those Iranian projectiles. And this is from the IDF. Oh, and this is the most ineffective police force in the world, the Vancouver police. This is their claim amidst rising crime in Vancouver. We continue to drive down crime and drive out offenders from the downtown east side through proactive, assertive, and targeted enforcement. Listen to this. Between June 1 and June 11, Task Force Barrage officers located and arrested 101 people on outstanding warrants. We've now made more than 500 warrant arrests since the task force was launched 4 months ago. So they've driven them down out of the downtown east side, which is a traditional collecting point for down and outers, for the homeless. So they drove them out, and now they're coming into our neighborhoods, you know, where we are proud of our surroundings and we're proud of the nature outside. And these people come in, and I'm sorry to go on a tangent, but they come in and they are garbage human beings. They bring in garbage, they just sleep anywhere they like on the streets. You wake up in the morning and you take your dog for a walk, and they spread their garbage everywhere, and they stink, and they're doing drugs. But I digress. Let's go back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Yeah, works. All right, let's see. Where are we now? Mossab Hussein Youssef, that's the son of Hamas. Very big supporter of Israel. Dear companions, are you with me? I can't even reply. Why is that? Do I not follow him? Oh, post your reply. Oh, there we go. I am with you. I am with you, Mossab. See? There you go. Send it. Done. Playing my part in the liberation of Iran and the liberation of Gaza from Hamas and the liberation of all of Gaza and Judea and Samaria from the Muslim Brotherhood. Let's go back. All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut here, and I'm going to I'm going to just quickly monitor. Let's see. Let's just catch up to this. Last damage. Okay, so 9:37, which is 6 minutes ago. Prime Minister Keir Starmer spoke to US President Donald Trump, emphasizing the importance of de-escalating the Iran-Israel conflict, saying he respected Israel's right to self-defense. What a fucking talking out of the two sides of his face, Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer, you are irrelevant. Ask the British people, and they'll tell you. Iran's 9:38, which is 6 minutes ago. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei says in a statement that Israel initiated a war and said it will not be allowed to do hit-and-run attacks without grave consequences. The liberation regime, called Israel, will not remain unscathed from the consequences of its crime. The Iranian nation must be guaranteed that our response will not be half-measured. Khamenei says in a statement, the Iranian nation must be guaranteed that our response will not be half-measured. That's a non-statement. That's a nothing, empty word salad. Means nothing. The Iranian nation must be guaranteed. Who's going to guarantee the Iranian nation? That the response will not. What is stupid? I mean, this is the leader of the country. The guy talks like he's got like a grade kindergarten education. All right, let me just keep on watching that for any changes. And yeah, let's go to Chuck Holton. I like Chuck Holton. Let's see what's happening. Let's get it going.
Recruit some.
Come on, man. Catch up.
So
Oh, there we go.
they may be Israel might be actually working with dissident elements inside Iran to help with these attacks and eventually, ostensibly, overthrow the regime. Now, I think you can expect that very soon you will be seeing attacks on the Ayatollah Khomeini and his minions, the religious leaders of Iran, because Israel said if people get hurt inside Israel by Iranian attacks, we will go after the leadership inside Iran. So those leaders better get deep underground right now, because Israel is coming for you. Now, people are asking where I am. If you're just joining us, I'm in southern Armenia, just about 17 miles from as crow flies, from the border with Iran, right back behind me. Now, of course, here it's almost 11 o'clock at night, so it's pitch black. And there was one other interesting thing that Ryan Macbeth had to say, and he's talking about the moon phase. Right now, we're in a gibbous moon, almost a full moon. I think full moon was like yesterday or the day before. And typically, you wouldn't want to launch night attacks like Israel did last night during a full moon, because it makes it easier to shoot down the jets. But the fact that Israel decided to go ahead with this attack tells us that they had a very pressing, urgent reason to attack Iran when they did. And so, reading between the lines a little bit, we don't know exactly what that was, but it's very likely that Israeli intelligence in Iran told the Israelis that a very, very bad thing was about to happen that had to be stopped. Now, there's some speculation that Iran was in the act of building nuclear bombs. There's some speculation that, now we've got some new news coming through. Speculation that they were, very, very close to having a functional nuclear weapon. And so Israel said, we got to do it. Full moon or not, we got to attack. This new information coming right now, Israel is trying its best to protect the Dimona nuclear facility. And here's some incredible videos coming out here. Strikes. Look at this. This is in Israel, folks. Okay? I'll let you watch it through one more time. These are ballistic missile strikes on Israel. Missiles flying down and exploding everywhere. But you see those explosions? Those are not the kind of explosions that are going to take out, a city block or something. Here's a picture of the Kiryat, which was struck in Kiryat's headquarters, which was struck in Tel Aviv. You see that? This is full-scale war, everybody. This is the largest missile attack against Israel since the 1990s, he says here. If they fired ballistic, where did I just read that? 300 ballistic missiles were fired, they believe so far. That is right up there with the attack that happened in October. And if they fire, if they're not done and they end up firing more than that, then we're getting into world record territory. What we're looking at likely tonight is the largest ballistic missile attack in world history ever. And it's happening to Israel right now. And so far, there are no reports of anybody killed. Now, that doesn't mean that nobody's been killed. That just means that so far they haven't had any reports of that. It looks like they had some missiles land in Haifa. Haifa is a large city with lots of people in it. Let's hope those people were in their shelters. Red alerts are continuously sounding across all of Israel and have not stopped for 10 to 15 minutes. About 300 missiles have been launched so far. Look at this photo from Tel Aviv. It looks like a time lapse of absolute chaos. This is coming down. I mean, it is raining missiles in Israel right now. Folks, this is really serious. And amazing, we got 12,000 people watching right now. Please go hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. That tells the YouTube more people need to be hearing this news. And it helps the channel a lot. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. Yeah, while I'm talking, just go hit that thumbs up button. And
okay, we're going to switch to somebody else. But let's catch up with the Times of Israel quickly and see where we're at there. All right. Not be half measured. That's what we last heard. Sirens are sounding across northern and southern Israel following a second barrage of dozens of ballistic missiles launched from Iran. The IDF says it is working to shoot down the projectiles. Dozens of ballistic missiles have been launched in this second wave, according to the IDF. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, is aware of reports concerning the Isfahan and Fordo nuclear facilities and is seeking information from Iranian authorities regarding any potential impact, the agency says in an ex-post. Well, that's too bad for them, eh? All right, I think what we're going to do is we're going to switch to Mansour Ashkar. I think he's the best. Absolutely the best. Let's just switch right to him.
Exploring this bunker with you. This is under Tel Aviv, center of Tel Aviv. There's this huge bomb shelter. Supposed to be a nuclear bomb shelter, but I don't know what the nuclear part is. Spider webs. Let's go exploring some more. So yeah, there was a few explosions, like I said, in Tel Aviv. Whoever joined the call right now, we're in Tel Aviv. The Iranians are attacking. There was 2 barrages of rockets that already landed. The first one landed maybe 2 minutes after we reached the bomb shelter. And then a few minutes later, there was a few more, I think 6 to 7 rockets. Quite big, I have to say. We felt the ground shaking here. I've had people sending images of a lot of smoke in the sky that was quite close to the tower that we're staying in. We're staying in the 40th floor, so the smoke, reach over there. So it takes quite a big impact to bring a lot of smoke that's still condensed. When you see it that high, condensed smoke, then it means that it's quite a big impact. It's not just a firecracker or a small drone, it's a pretty big ballistic missile. How is ventilations in the bunkers are good? Yeah, ventilations seems pretty good. I mean, the girls here are complaining that it smells
actually
like
in a
urine and moist, but in general, ventilation seems to be very good. Yeah. They're asking how is the smell in the bunker?
What they're asking?
How is the smell in the bunker?
You get used to it. It smells like flowers that were rotten for like 1,000 years.
Exactly. Rotten flowers. So yeah, it doesn't smell that good, but I mean, you get used to it. Let's see what else we got here. Man, that's pretty cool, this bunker. I mean, it's not like in Switzerland where you have these bunkers that are, with swimming pools and restaurants and coffee shops. But there is chargers. People are charging their phones. So I guess all in all, it could be way worse. Here's a funny thought for you. Here's a funny thought. That's the biggest example of the difference between Israel and Hamas and these radical Iranians and I don't know what. In Israel, we build bomb shelters for the civilians, for the people. In Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, they build bomb shelters to hide weapons of mass destruction and terrorists. That's what they do. And they don't allow the civilians to enter these places. How crazy is that, and how difficult is that to understand for thick-head, Captain Planet, woke leftists like Greta Thunberg and her friends, or I don't know what, to see the difference. See, everyone here, most of the people here are civilians or soldiers on their vacation, and they came down. The city, the municipalities went ahead of time and opened the places. When I came here first today to explore the bunkers, there was no electricity here, it was dark. I went with a flashlight, looking through the bunker here, trying to find, where should we go in case of a rocket landing. Came back now, and it's already, the air is in, you feel the ventilation better, so that someone went and ran. That was his job, that's why you pay taxes. Someone ran and went through these bomb shelters, opened the doors, so many spider webs, opened the doors, cleaned it, put the ventilation system on, electricity, so people can come and be safe. That is the difference between a nation that is defending its people into a terrorist organization that hijacks the nation and try to use them as human shields. Crazy, right? I'm wondering how can I see the comments here. I want to read the comments from you guys. Free Druze, free Rujat. Yeah, let's free the Druze. How do I see the comments? So I can answer you guys, and maybe if you have any questions. Other than that, I mean, it's the first time that I'm doing live from my phone. So we haven't heard any rocket landing in the last 15 minutes. How are you guys feeling? Good. Feeling good? Yeah. I'm Israel Chai. So, yeah, let's see. Let's go explore. You know the first rule they say when you're in an apocalypse or a zombie movie is never walk alone. I think I heard another explosion. Is never walk alone. So I'm gonna break that rule. I'm gonna walk alone into dark places with you guys. Just explore. Look at that. That is so.
Okay, well, seems to have lost connection. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, let's just wait for him to come back, and in the meantime, see if there's anything new. Iranian state television says the country's forces launched missile attacks at Israel on Friday in response to a wave of Israeli attacks on its territory. The announcement of the start of Iranian missile attacks on state TV, confirming earlier reports, came shortly after a televised speech by Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, in which he promised that the Islamic Republic will prevail over the liberation regime. Magen David Adom updates its injury count from Iran's missile attack to 7. Why do you do that all the time? Stop it. Stop it. Damn. All right. Where are we here? 19. Come on, where's... Iran's Revolutionary Guard said they launched an attack on dozens of targets in Israel after its large-scale attack on the Islamic Republic. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has executed its decisive and precise response against tens of targets, military centers and air bases of the liberation regime in Israel. The guards say in a statement carried by state media, 5 people have been wounded in Iran's ballistic missile attack on Israel, medics say. Magen Davidov says it treated 1 person in moderate condition and 4 others lightly hurt by shrapnel in the Tel Aviv area. They were taken to hospitals in the city. Several missile impacts were reported in the Tel Aviv area. Iranian state media says the country's forces downed 2 Israeli fighter jets on Friday. Oh my God. During a massive Israeli air raid. At least 2 Israeli fighter jets were shot down in Iranian skies. We're going to follow that one up. Amid Iran's missile attacks across Israel tonight, which have seen some 200 missiles fired, Channel 12 quotes an unnamed Israeli political source threatening Iran with escalated strikes. Iran will pay an unbearably heavy price for its fire at civilian areas, the Israeli source is quoted saying. We know what Israel hit in its attacks on Iranian targets today, and we know what Israel decided not to hit. And that's the next step. The remark appears to be a reference to potential Israeli strikes on Iranian energy and infrastructure targets. Wow. I don't know. Let's see if Mansour's come back. See what's happening. No. I think he's still lost. Look. Still nothing. Okay, let's keep on watching the Times of Israel, and I'll look for something else. Oh, yes. This is the best one. Let's watch this. Okay, from the beginning.
Briefing brought to you by the Israel Defense and Security Forum, IDSF. This is not our usual time for these briefings, but given what is happening right now in Israel and the decisive strike on Iran, we thought it was very relevant to speak with all of you so that you can hear directly from General Avivi the most up-to-date information, what is happening in this war. As you can see on your screen right now, we have a QR code in the link. If our work speaks to you and you believe that we are a necessary ingredient to fighting this war for Israel, then we invite you to partner with us, make a tax-exempt donation today, so that as this war progresses, we have the support, the funds that we need to continue our very important work. With that, I'm going to turn it over directly to General Avivi for an update.
Thank you very much. Moshe, you know, throughout this whole war, again and again and again, we said we can do it. Israel has the capabilities, has the will. Amazing capabilities have been developed in the last 6 months, 7 months. Preparations have been going for years and years, and now you see the might of Israel and the Jewish people. Very, very defining moment in our history, where we are dealing really with the biggest threat since the Holocaust that Israel and the Jewish people are facing. I can say that when we started the ceasefire in the north, after beating Hezbollah with an attack of awe and shock, a few days later, we met with the Minister of Defense, the former one, Gallant, and the discussion was clear. It was crystal clear that the moment Iran lost all its proxies, Iran will make Iran towards nuclear capabilities. It was obvious because the whole strategy of Iran for many, many years was based on defending itself by creating what they call strategic depths, by creating all these proxies that fought for Iran, while they were able just to weaponize them but not fight themselves. And the moment they lost these strategic depths, the only thing that could keep this regime intact in their eyes was making a run for nuclear weapons. And they decided to pursue two main strategies. One is to move fast towards the production of at least 9 nuclear bombs. And the other efforts that Iran started pushing very, very fast forward is building a very big industry of production of ballistic missiles, aiming at producing 300 ballistic missiles every month, which means that in a short period of time, they would have been able to produce thousands and thousands of ballistic missiles, each one with a ton of explosives. And these two threats, both of them, are existential for the state of Israel. So the moment we defeated Hezbollah, Israel put a clear timetable that said by the end of April, we'll be ready to launch a massive strike on Iranian capabilities and destroy the nuclear sites and also all the industries that produce ballistic missiles, while minimizing the ability of Iran to shoot and retaliate by destroying as many ballistic launchers and missiles in Iran, those mostly concentrated on the western part of Iran. And the strategy was built very similarly to what we did with Hezbollah. What happened with Hezbollah is that Hezbollah, throughout the war, didn't lose all its capabilities. They could have still fought us, but they lost all the leadership and ability to take decisions. So while we went on a full-scale attack against Hezbollah, they found themselves in a situation they cannot even decide that they're in a war and change mode. This is why Israel started the attack by eliminating almost all the military leadership of Iran. One of the important strikes was the strike on the headquarters of the Iranian Air Force, killing the Air Force commander and all its team, and destroying the headquarters. The IDF attacked several very meaningful headquarters and killed more than 20 top military intelligence leaders and also scientists that are involved with the nuclear plans of Iran. And we cannot in one day destroy everything. So now we enter the campaign. As Israel was attacking, Israel also destroyed the remaining air defense capabilities of Iran. And now Israel is dominating completely Iranian airspace, being able to operate constantly on Iranian space with all the capabilities and hunting in West Iran all these ballistic missiles, while continuing waves of attack on nuclear sites and strategic sites. And this will go on until Israel will reach all its missions. Can Iran retaliate? Definitely. They started retaliating by launching 100 drones, which we destroyed. But I think that after they will recuperate from this initial shock they are in, they will probably retaliate with ballistic missiles. Israel is working very hard to minimize this capability, but we cannot promise that they won't be able to shoot, by taking into account that they will attack, and they will attack fiercely. It will be challenging. It's not going to be easy. We'll have probably a few challenging weeks. But for Israel, this is existential. Iran cannot be nuclear, cannot have this massive amount of ballistic missiles. We need to destroy all these capabilities. And the IDF is going to attack around the clock until we reach the goals of war and bring the Iranians on their knees, destroying their capabilities and bringing an understanding that they better surrender and stop fighting. So the attacks are going to intensify more and more. All this, and I said it again and again and again, was fully coordinated with the US. The coordination was all the time. It's not that we see everything eye to eye, but the US respects the right of Israel to defend itself by itself, and not just respects, but also weaponizes and gives Israel all the capabilities needed to be able to defend itself. We will prefer seeing the US joining the attack, intensifying it. Of course, we rather see the US also attacking with us. It can shorten a lot the war. It can also secure much better Israel against Iranian attacks. But this is a decision that needs to be taken by the president. Israel is very thankful for the US that really stands strongly with Israel, gave us the green light, is helping us in multiple ways to defend, even if they're not attacking with us, definitely on the defensive side, the US is very, very active, helping Israel. And I think that according to what the Iranians will do, we'll see also how the US will act. And I think that at this stage, as we are really dismantling the capabilities of Iran, the danger also to US troops or US Air Force is much, much lower. They don't have air defense. And there is a kind of state of chaos in the Iranian regime. But again, what the US will do depends on the US. But at least there's a clear understanding. We have the right to defend ourselves, and the US is standing very, very strongly with Israel.
Okay, that's cool. Let's just quickly catch up with Times of Israel. Earlier, I read a piece where the Iranians had claimed to shoot down two Israeli jets. The IDF denies a report by Iran's state media claiming that the country's forces downed two Israeli fighter jets and captured a pilot. Fake Iranian media, says Colonel Avichai Adrai, the IDF's Arabic language spokesman. The news being spread by Iranian media is completely baseless. That was from 14 minutes ago. 11 minutes ago, amid Iran's missile attacks across Israel tonight, which have seen some 200 missiles fired, Channel 12 quotes an unnamed Israeli political source threatening Iran with escalated strikes. Iran will pay an unbearably heavy price for its fire at civilian areas, this Israeli source is quoted as saying. We know what Israel hit in its attacks on Iranian targets today, and we know what Israel decided not to hit, and that's the next step. The remark appears to be a reference to potential Israeli strikes on Iranian energy and infrastructure targets. It seems to me I've read that. Maybe not. 6 minutes ago, the US is assisting Israel in intercepting Iranian ballistic missiles that have been launched at the country this evening. So far, so good. All right, back to General Avivi.
So this is what's happening at the moment. This is not a short operation. This is going to take time. We'll have to attack again and again until we reach all the goals. And we'll have to also deal with defending the country against Iranians' attack that will come at a certain point. And I think that if the Iranians will challenge us too much, Israel might wipe the whole leadership of Iran. It's definitely that's something that can happen, just as we did with Hezbollah, and they need to take that in account. The US called Iran to go back to negotiations and agree to completely dismantle the nuclear sites. I don't think it's going to happen. President Trump mentioned that he gave them 60 days to agree to a deal, and today is the 61st day. So they didn't really do what they needed to do in the 60 days they were given, and now they're paying the price. And for their stubbornness and unwillingness to stop and dismantle completely the sites, they will probably pay a much, much bigger price as we go on. We have to understand that what Israel is doing now, cutting the head of the snake, bringing down the whole Shia axis, this is not just going to impact what will happen in Iran and our ability to really destroy this big danger of nuclear capabilities and ballistic missiles. This is going to impact the whole Middle East. It will impact Hamas. It will impact Hamas' willingness to give us the hostages. It will enable us to move faster towards a win in Gaza. Of course, it will impact also what is happening in Lebanon and enable further steps to dismantle completely Hezbollah, much more than we did until now. It will impact Yemen. And of course, the whole moderate Sunni world is looking astonished at what Israel is doing. And this, in the coming future, will bring also peace agreements, and we will be able to build a strong alliance, a Western Israeli Sunni alliance.
Are you astonished by what Israel is doing? Are you impressed? Are you shocked? Are you in disbelief? In your mind, is it actually happening? Will Iran retaliate? Will Israel get destroyed? What do you think? What do you think? Seriously, put in the chat or put in the comments. But it's time to have a conversation.
Many people who look at this big attack are asking themselves, did we start a big war? And I'm saying, no, this is not the beginning of a war. This is the beginning of the end of the war. Attacking Iran fiercely is the first step towards ending the war with a decisive win on all fronts. This is the most important thing to do to really be able to move everything towards a clear win. Iran is the mastermind. They are weaponizing everybody. They are inciting, they are building all these proxies, and we need to deal with them and dismantle their capabilities. We said all along, they're a paper tiger. We can deal with them.
Yep.
Israel has really spent many years in building really amazing capabilities that are being used now. What we see, of course, is drones and planes, but I think everybody understands we're doing much, much more than just setting drones and planes and attacking. We have the amazing Mossad capabilities that have been prepared for many, many years, and now they are being used on a scale that is much bigger than the pagers we saw in Lebanon. I was asked many times, what rabbit do we have to pull out of the hat, looking at what we did in Lebanon, and we have many rabbits to pull out of the hat, and this is exactly what Israel is doing now, pulling all the rabbits and really making things happen and moving towards achieving the goals of war and secure Israel really for generations to come. Moshe.
General, thank you for sharing all of that. And I know today has been an extraordinarily busy day for you. So thank you for making the time for all of our viewers. You know, it's amazing that Israel has been saying it's ready to go to war with Iran, ready for decisive attack. You'd think Iran would be preparing, but yet was still this element that Israel surprised Iran and was able to make some initial accomplishments, despite presumably Iran being aware. Do you think that that was kind of part of the grand plan, in that all of this back and forth we've been seeing in the press between, is Trump and Bibi, are they on the same side, are they not?
I tell you what I think before he answers. I think that Bibi said, we're ready to attack Iran, we're ready to go. And Trump said, well, we're going to be talking to Iran on Sunday. So I've told Israel to hold off, not do anything until we get a resolution at the table to wherever the talks are going, which lulled Iran into thinking, well, we've got a few more days, don't worry about it. Netanyahu won't go against Trump's orders. But that was all a bodyguard of lies contributing to the fog of war. It is brilliant.
Is that really kind of a strategy for the US and Israel really to partner together on an effective operation?
Yes, definitely. It's all about the surprise. The most important thing when you launch a campaign is starting it with a big surprise. It's a crucial element in your capability to really have success. And I think that with all the leaks and the media and everything that's going on, and maybe because of all this misinformation we see in the media, international and in Israel, the Iranians were really, really surprised by this massive attack of Israel that surprised them, and the shock is big. They're really shocked. They lost all the leadership, and this leadership is a leadership that has been around for years and years. It's not people you can replace. It's not easy to replace them with people that have the experience.
Well done,
the Iranians
Israel.
are all the time asking us, okay, if Israel knows so much, what else do they know? What else can they do to us? What will happen to our government, to the regime itself? And definitely, Israel has still a lot of capabilities and things that Israel can do. But again, having said that, we're all in a kind of euphoria, and everybody is very proud and relieved to see the amazing capabilities. But there will be difficult moments. There will be moments that they will shoot. It will be challenging. It is a war. It's not one-sided. And we'll have to deal with several challenges that lay ahead.
General, the media is reporting that President Trump is still reaching out a hand for a deal, that somehow if Iran comes back to the negotiation tables in a serious way, that would sway Israel to stop this attack. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that, Iranians are stubborn, they're radical. They already said they're not going to deal. And I think that maybe only when they will be hit furthermore, they will reach the point where they say, okay, we want a ceasefire, we need to stop, and let's have some kind of deal. But in order to reach this point, we really need to move forward and destroy all the sites. We started by attacking massively Natanz. Now we're attacking in Qom and Parchin, in other places. And of course, all the also military elements and industries of Iran, and continue to also take out leaders and experts And I think it will take time until Iran will reach the point where they will really, really ask for a ceasefire. It's not there yet. It will take time.
Thank you to all of our viewers and supporters for tuning in, for sharing the questions that you want to get the answers to the most. And thank you to everyone who is right now supporting our work. You know, when these escalations happen, war comes to Israel, our work is more critical than ever. And receiving your support and really your partnership allows us to do what we are doing right now to defend.
I want to tell you something about that, Moshe. You know that in 3 instances in this war, the impact that IDSF had on decision makers, both the government and the army, was crucial to be able to move towards victory. The first time was the reassurance that we gave the Prime Minister that we can win in Gaza and we need to go into Gaza. We had a very defining meeting with the Prime Minister at the beginning of the war, which really changed the set mind and really helped push.
Okay, I think they're just going right now into closing, and there's really not much information. In terms of the Times of Israel, I keep on being blocked. I can't understand why, but it's happening. So, let's see if we can catch up quickly. Where were we? U.S.-assisted Israel, I think we read that one. Defense Minister Israel Katz says Iran has crossed red lines after it dared to fire missiles at civilian population concentrations in Israel. We will continue to defend the citizens of Israel and ensure that the Ayatollah regime pays a very heavy price for its heinous actions, he adds. So far, Iran has fired some 150 ballistic missiles at Israel in 2 barrages, according to new IDF estimates. There have been reports of 9 impact sites with some 15 people wounded, mostly in good condition, according to medics. 10 minutes ago, the IDF Home Front Command says civilians can leave bomb shelters following Iran's ballistic missile barrages, but should remain close to them until further notice. So it looks like for now things are pretty stable. And I'm going to end this broadcast as well, because it's gone on too long. There are more. There's going to be a change. The situation is changing all the time, and we have other things to talk about. We have G-Man to talk about. Don't forget, G-Man, if you're watching this, you're up. You're coming up. Quite possibly this weekend. Yeah, quite possibly this weekend. If not this weekend, then next weekend, when I know I'll be around, because I have obligations around my area. So for everybody who did watch, I got to thank you all. I will be back soon, so take care. This'll do it. Cut.